So there's a clip of Uncle Trump that has been going absolutely viral recently, and that is a clip of him talking about how powerful of a weapon that we have here in America. And people have been speculating on what he was actually saying when he made this statement. And I'm going to play the clip, and I think I may have an idea of what it might be. But, of course, as always, you guys can chime in and let me know your thoughts and your feelings about this, because this is quite interesting. And I think Uncle Trump wants to tell us what it is, but he's not able to actually tell us. So he's trying to beat around the bush and, give, a subtle hint. It also could be a tactic to get China to come to the negotiating table, and to make sure that, Xi Jinping doesn't try anything crazy. It could be a scare tactic, but you guys let me know what you think. So with that being said, let's dive in.
And we're very powerful. This country is very powerful. Let me tell you, it's far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have. More powerful than anybody, not even close. So nobody's going to do that. But I think that if that's what you're referring to, maybe it's not. But
interesting. We have powerful weapons that nobody knows about.
We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have. More powerful than anybody, not even close.
Nobody even knows what it is. Interesting. Quite interesting. There have been several other clips that have been going viral as well, been all over the place. And one of those things is this clip of this plane just disappearing into thin air. You can see there's some orbs circling around it. Right here. Here's one of them. Here's a second. And there's a third right here. And then it disappears. Vanished. Gone. Real or fake? You tell me. You tell me. When we consider everything that we have seen more recently, especially with those drones, you guys remember those drones, the drones that were the size of cars that were hovering around America, and the Biden administration didn't want to tell us about it until we didn't learn anything until the Trump administration took over, and Caroline Leavitt had this to say.
Update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
Research and various other reasons. What are those various other reasons? Apparently it's something very important, because they didn't tell us, He kept his promise that he was going to tell us, because if you guys remember, when the whole thing first started going down, Trump was like, we're going to tell you. I think it's ridiculous, or something along those lines. He said, I think it's ridiculous that they aren't telling you. And so he did tell us, but there was a missing piece to the puzzle. Various other reasons. I wonder. I came across this video here as well about Ben Rich, a guy by the name of Ben Rich, who was the president of Lockheed Skunk Works, and he said something pretty interesting. And I want you guys to listen to what this gentleman, who unfortunately has passed away and allegedly said this around the time of his passing. This is what he said.
James Goodall, Jim Goodall's friend of mine, and he probably was the last man to talk to Ben Rich before he died. Ben Rich said, anything you can imagine that you've seen at Star Trek and this and that, we already have done at the Skunk Works. And then he said, it's not at Area 51, it's out in the desert there.
If you want to talk regarding Jim Goodall, I'll be happy to get him on the phone right this very second if you want to. We'll do this live. Hey, Jim, are you there? Talk about what Ben Rich told you at the hospital just before he passed away.
Just before Ben Rich passed away, when I was talking to him, he said, Jim, we have things out in the desert, and he wasn't referring to Area 51. We have things on the desert that is 50 years beyond what you can comprehend. You see movies like Star Trek or Star Wars, we've been there, done that, or decided it wasn't worth the effort.
You see movies like Star Trek, and we've been there and done that, or we decided it wasn't worth the effort, meaning that technology is cool, but it's not going to be super beneficial to us. We could probably get it done, but it's not going to be beneficial. But this stuff over here, yeah, let's make that happen. Interesting. And to me, the fact that he was allegedly on his deathbed says a lot, because he knew, what are you going to do to me? I'm already dying. I'll just tell it all, you know? I don't know. Maybe a conspiracy. I don't know. I don't know. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? This is, yep, you see it. You see it. And you see this? Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated and cause things to grow and improve productivity. Well, that's interesting and kind of scary, if I do say so myself. Apparently, there was some type of experiment, allegedly. Now, lots of people do say that this was a hoax. I do want to put that out there, okay? Lots of people have said that this was completely a hoax right here, what I'm about to show you. If you haven't heard of it, it's called the Philadelphia Experiment. And I'm just going to play the clip because you got to hear it being explained. But allegedly, this is supposed to be a hoax, but y'all can tell me if you think it actually happened.
Have you ever heard about the Philadelphia Experiment? In the early 1940s, the United States government orchestrated a top-secret experiment in the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. The main objective of the experiment was to make a U.S. Navy ship invisible to the human eye with the help of force fields. However, the experiment went horribly wrong. The government used the USS Eldridge as a test subject. However, when the test began, the ship disappeared out of nowhere, leaving behind a mysterious green haze. Witnesses claimed that the ship appeared in Norfolk, Virginia, before vanishing into thin air again. The ship then reappeared in Philadelphia after a short while. However, the scene on board was truly horrifying. Some of the men on board reportedly went mentally insane. Others were shifting in and out of reality. But even more strangely, some men mysteriously disappeared and were never heard from ever again. And after the bizarre events, the government closed down the experiment and forced everyone to keep quiet about what happened. However, 40 years later, a man by the name of Al Balek came out and said that he was one of the men aboard during the experiment. Al claimed that when the ship was starting to disappear, he had jumped off the ship and traveled to the year 2137. But what do you think? What really happened during the Philadelphia Experiment?
What do you think? Did it really happen, or was it just a hoax? And if it did actually happen, we know they wouldn't actually tell us that it happened. So take that for what you want, you know, but I don't know, man. I do believe that we have technology that is far beyond what we could comprehend. When he said that we have technology that's 50 years into the future, I believe that. I do. I really do. And if there ever came a situation or a circumstance where we absolutely had to use it, it would be unleashed. And it would be total mayhem, or everything would stop. You know, Trump would teleport, or Combat General would teleport to Russia or whoever we were fighting against, and be right there in front of Vladimir Putin and be like, end it now. You know, and just like completely freak him out because somebody just appeared right in front of his face. I don't know, man. That was tough. Teleportation is crazy, you know? Do I think we probably have technology to disappear? I could see that. You know? I wouldn't say I'll say this. I would not be shocked if there was ever some kind of leak that came out and said that we actually have the technology to disappear. Maybe not teleport, but to disappear, to be standing in front of someone and then poof. You guys remember what was that movie, Alien versus Predator? How the Predator could like disappear, you know? Wait, yeah, wasn't the Alien versus Predator I think it was the Predator that could just disappear. He's just gone. He's still there, like he didn't like teleport to a different location, but you couldn't see him. I wouldn't be surprised if we did have that technology. I would not be surprised. And it was being held secret for that one special moment. If Putin decided to hit that red button, or if Xi Jinping decided to hit that red button, that and only that would cause us to bring out that type of technology. But that's just my opinion. What's yours? What do you think? Do you think Uncle Trump was trying to tell us something without actually saying it because he can't? Was he just using that as a negotiation strategy, trying to strong arm China? Like, don't you try nothing crazy. We got some big guns around here, okay? We got some stuff you couldn't even fathom, Was it that? Because, I mean, he is a master negotiator. Am I just crazy? I'll accept that. I won't be offended, okay? Y'all talk to me, man. But this is some interesting stuff. Some really interesting stuff and scary stuff at that. To think that maybe, possibly, we have the technology to teleport wherever. Scary stuff, man. But anyway, y'all let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Thanks for tuning in as always. Peace and love. I'm out.